Today, I'm going to tell you a story, one called The Radio Station of the Missing. Back in the days when the world moved slower and winter nights stretched long and deep, people often gathered around their radios for news, music, and sometimes things no one could ever explain. The story I'm about to tell you begins with an old radio and ends with the unexplained disappearance of a man who lived alone. His name was Walter Green. Part 1: The Attic Rowdy. Walter Green was a retired electrical engineer living in a small town called Meriden, in the state of Maine. A widower with no children, he led a quiet life in an old wooden house inherited from his parents. One late autumn day, while clearing out the attic to prepare for the harsh winter, he found an old Zenith radio, the kind powered by vacuum tubes, nearly the size of a small suitcase. It was coated in dust, but still intact. Walter cleaned it up, plugged it in, and to his surprise, the power light came on. The radio still worked, but strangely, it only picked up a single frequency, 104.6 FM. Part 2: The non-existent frequency. There were no registered radio stations broadcasting on that frequency in Meriden. Yet every night, precisely at 11:11 p.m., the radio would come alive, playing music. Old tunes from the 1940s and the 50s, interspersed with static and what sounded like someone whispering. At first, the whispers were faint. Someone, "Can you hear me? I'm still here." Under the cold earth. Walter thought he was imagining it. But night after night, the whispers became clearer and more disturbing. Part 3: Voices from Beyond. One voice belonged to a woman, describing how she vanished in 1962 while waiting at a bus stop. Another was an elderly man, whispering that someone had pushed him into a well behind his house, and no one believed him. Each night brought a new story, a new plea, a deep sorrow left behind. Walter began to investigate. He looked up the names, the details mentioned on the radio, and to his horror, discovered that every name was real. Every voice he heard had belonged to someone who had vanished without a trace. No one had ever heard of 104.6 FM. No technician believed him. But the radio kept broadcasting. Same time. Every night. Part 4: The Final Voice. Then one night, the unthinkable happened. Walter turned on the radio as usual. But this time, the voice on the other end was his own. A trembling voice came through the static. "My name is Walter Green. I'm trapped somewhere. I don't know how I got here. If anyone can hear this, please don't turn the radio on at 11:11 p.m. If you hear my voice, don't answer." Walter froze. He couldn't pull himself away from the radio. And that night, he disappeared. The police found no signs of forced entry, but the radio still turned on every night at 11:11. First music, then Walter's voice still calling out. The end. They say the radio was moved to the town storage, but no one dares to turn it on anymore. And if one night you happen to tune the dial and catch the frequency 104.6 FM, please turn it off immediately, because the next person to disappear could be you.